Reality Receipts.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Reality Receipts podcast starring me, Storytime with Ricky.
And me, Reality Ashley. We're back to talk Love is Blind, Season 10, Episode 7. We know they dropped 3 today, but we're going to do them one at a time so that we don't get ahead of ourselves and forget what happened in the episode before. So it's much easier to just slowly take our time with it. But
Yes.
before we get into the episode, Keya and Tyler went on What's the Reality today. Did you catch that interview?
I did catch it. It was very long, an hour and 45 minutes. I do think that they should have had them on separately. I feel like we would have maybe gotten, a little bit more
I agree.
information that way. And it's lengthy,
Yeah, I
It's lengthy.
listen audio, right? So having 2 people on at the same time is very tricky. I don't like when they do that because you're kind of like, "Who's answering this? Who's saying this?" And, yeah, it just feels unnecessary. I think they were both kind of, like, big characters in this first drop and could have had their own interviews. But I do know the whole theme of the interview was, like, they are supportive of each other, friends. It was never us against each other. So I guess by having them together, it just like solidifies that point so that no one's pitting them against each other. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it made sense.
Yeah, and I think that made sense because I do think that, the way it was edited and kind of put to us was like that there wasn't really a friendship there, and
Yeah.
that they did kind of have animosity towards each other. So I get it in that regard, but as far as like information, it was definitely a little overwhelming. But I
Hmm.
did notice that I watched it on YouTube, so um Tyler did have on the same dress that she had on day 1 of the pods. I did
I think
notice
they both
that.
did, right? Was that what
Did
Q was
they
wearing?
did th
I think they both.
No, Kia had on her picture day, she had on a long snakeskin
Oh,
lime dress, I'll never
right.
forget that, and
Oh,
then
I
Kia ha
thought
I
they did
mean,
that on purpose. And I was like, why?
and Tyler had on that pink dress with the flowers at the bottom, but,
Yeah.
I think the beginning was, like, very, like, surface level questions, right? Like, how was it like seeing yourself on TV? I do feel like the first part of the interview was very, very focused on Tyler, and Kia was really quiet.
Hmm.
How did you feel seeing yourself on camera? Tyler's like, I was like, "Girl, stand up," like, basically
Hmm.
agreeing with, like, what she's seeing online or
Yeah.
what the viewers are saying about her. But she did say she threw production under the bus a little
Yeah.
bit in the beginning. She said she needs to clear up some context because some stuff simply like didn't happen.
Hmm.
And she said a main point about Kevon that we didn't see in their relationship. She said that they dropped us in like day 5 or 6 with them.
Hmm.
So we didn't get to see a lot of their like fun stuff, a lot of their, just like, you know, she said that they connected on, like, being friendly and, like, lighthearted, so she's like, "We didn't
Hmm.
get to see a lot of that." Like, we got dropped into, like, episode 5 or 6, and she said something that kept coming up in their relationship was him feeling like he's not enough, which was
Yeah.
interesting because I feel like we saw that with him and Kia, like, once, but she said that he kinda kept saying it, like, she said they had, like, 3 conversations about it, and, like, she wasn't going to, like, convince him that he's enough, and I'm sorry, that's, like, very unattractive for a man to just be
Hmm.
like, "I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm enough, I don't know if I'm good," so it's giving that Kevin was, like, a Debbie Downer and, like, Eeyore in a sense.
Hmm.
I hate a Eeyore-ass bitch, like, "Bitch,
Yeah.
smile," like, "Bitch,
Yeah.
laugh," like, um,
Like,
so she
why?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
why are you here then? But we'll get to that part, but
Yeah, like, you're not confident. Like, nobody
yeah.
wants a man that's not confident. Kia actually said that she had never watched Love Is Blind before.
Do you
Eh,
believe that?
I don't know. I don't
Uh,
know.
here's the thing.
Maybe.
Here's the thing. First of all, give them their flowers. They're both amazing. So glad they didn't end up with Kevin. I would have liked to see more of them, but love that we got to see how much they had each other's backs and were there for each other. But I did like I can understand maybe you didn't watch before you went and filmed it, but don't you think in this whole year between filming and airing, you would like check it out a little? Because Kia was very much like, I had no idea, and I didn't even know people watched it until like someone from Sweden commented on my post, and I don't know if I buy that, but
I
maybe
think
she just
that I think that going into anything, you're going in blind, no pun
Yeah.
intended, is not a good idea. Like, you want to
No.
know what you're getting yourself into. Well, Jeremiah on Love Island was like, "Oh, I never watched it. I only watched a few episodes." Like, and she says that she says the first season that she watched was her own season. She tried to watch like 7 minutes of another season and just stopped because she felt like if she did watch it, that she wouldn't go through with it.
Mhm.
Okay, if that's okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. If that's what you want us to believe.
Yeah, I just don't know if I buy it.
She got recruited through a DM. Tyler said that she was going to apply, but when she got to the end of the application, it kind of like deleted and it was a sign
Mm,
that she didn't want to do it. And then the next day she was hit up by production asking her if she would be interested in doing the show, which she
mhm.
was like, I just tried to apply yesterday, but it got deleted because she had apparently applied to be on a previous reality TV show about some rapper.
Right.
And she didn't end up going through with that, but they were calling, hey, I know you didn't want to do that rapper show, but would you be interested in Love is Blind? So
Mhm.
it was a mix of recruiting and applying, I guess. And then again, very surface level questions asking about dating in Ohio. Keya said it's been tough. She just got out of a 5-year relationship, which seemingly was like bi-coastal. She said, like, I think the guy
Yeah.
lived in New York.
Well, she lives
And
there now too. Neither of them are in Ohio anymore. So
oh,
Kia said she's in New York and Tyler said she's in Atlanta. So
oh,
they were out of Ohio right after something.
yeah, I guess too, because
Yeah.
I mean, I think we see that a lot because Alex and Ashley are talking about they're moving
Uh,
to, people are moving to Florida. But
yeah.
anywho, so basically, when Keya was describing what she likes in a man, it was everything that Kevin's not, like somebody that's sure of themselves, somebody that's confident. So there's that. And she said she's not an app girly, but she is ready to be a wife and a mom. So that is why she chose to do Love is Blind. Tyler basically said that she wasn't actively dating, that she has to be locked in a box basically to date, right?
Uh-huh.
Then we get into AD does ask about Tyler's famous line, which was she was like, Jesus died single. I'm not trying to die single. Is that a famous line? Are people talking about that line? Because I haven't
It
seen
was
anything.
I think they used it in the trailer or in a clip
Yeah.
of some sort, but
Yeah.
that was it. I haven't seen it like talked about after that. I think
Okay.
her face at the camera was what people were talking about, which she does talk about.
So yeah, I didn't hear people like talking about this line, but AD does ask about it. And she said, she was turning 33. That's her Jesus year. And
Mhm.
Jesus is a perfect human, and he died single. But then she says now she views it differently, that Jesus had a purpose. You know, at the time she just thought 33 was the year that she should get married and have a partner and all of that. But now
Mhm.
she's recognizing that her purpose is bigger than just being married to someone. She says she loves her life, whether someone's in it or not. She learned a lot from the show and she's evolved since the show. So, she did say her earlier connections, but she said that everyone dumped her very early on. She said she dated Victor for 3 days, which we heard a little bit about that.
Mhm.
We knew that that was a thing. She dated Tyler for a little bit because they had similar names. I didn't even know there was a Tyler.
Oh, right.
And then Kevon, and again, she said their connection was built on friendship and lightheartedness. Um, they said day 2 is the sex questions, which is extremely odd,
So early.
extremely weird because you haven't
Um,
even made your final selections then. So now it's like making sense why we see Ashley and Alex talking about sex so early on.
yeah.
Um, and AD and both of them commented about like they thought that they had to follow the rules of the show because Keya kind of said, I don't follow the rules. I wasn't following the rules in the rules in the pods. Like I would look at some of the prompts and some of the questions and be like, yeah, absolutely not. Like we're not doing that right now.
Yeah.
So, and AD like made a joke that like sometimes the first prompt questions like, do you like being choked? Like, you know what I mean? So it gets very sexual very fast. I'm glad that they didn't follow the prompts. So,
Yeah. You never know
Yes.
what they're gonna use, right? Because 'Cause you're thinking everybody's answering these, whatever, and then, of course, they'll take your little clip of, like, "Yeah, I like to be choked," and that'll be on national television for your parents to see, like, it's so
Right.
horrible.
Right. They did
Mhm.
Ashley and Alex so dirty, like as if that's all that they talked about. So,
Yeah.
I think what like hearing Tyler's story, the main part for me that stuck out was like she knew that she did not want Kevin.
Yeah.
She said multiple times, like, I knew he wasn't my man. He kept having feelings of inadequacy that were never shown. And she kept talking about how everything was like really chopped and screwed to like look a certain way. She said she had the same conversations with Kevin 3 times about him not being enough.
Mhm.
And this conversation of them making a decision to move. So she said she never said to him, I'm going to move for you. She said the conversation was more so based around, I would move for my husband, and I'm
Mhm.
not sure if that's you. Like, I'm not
Right.
sure if you are actually my husband. And she said in the lounge, when we hear her say, like, I'm getting engaged, like, she was not specifically talking about
Yeah.
Kevin. She said that she just meant like love is in the air. People are
Mhm.
falling in love. People are making connections. And so I'm going to get engaged. Like, I'm going to get engaged
Yeah.
too. Like, it wasn't
It'll
necessarily
work for me.
specifically, yeah, to Kevin. And she said that she wasn't like, she wasn't hell bent on like staying in the pods for
Mhm.
no reason because she was taking a sabbatical from work. And like, if she wasn't going to like meet her husband, she was very basically wanting to get back to work because it was her first work break that she had taken
Yeah.
in 17 years, which is crazy. So
Yeah.
she had no desire to be there for no reason. So she said, she was like, I'm about to give you guys some tea right now. Like, I'm gonna give you. So I thought she was about to give something like real good. But she
Yeah.
said she told the girls that she likes Kevin, but if he talks about not being enough one more time, that she was gonna leave. So
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't think that was like, I was like, I like
Yeah.
paused it, slowed it down. Like, I was like, okay. Cause Kia even chimed in, was like, oh, I didn't know you was gonna talk about that. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, it could have been a cut. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, um, so she said that the way that she found out about Keya, that he was connecting with Keya, was because I guess they had like food slips, right?
Oh,
And you
yeah.
like write, yeah, like you write down what you want to eat on your food slip. And I guess Kevin had lost his food slip and asked Tyler to.
How do you lose a paper you're in one room? You're in a pod and you're in the lounge. Like, how do you and we talked about how we lose things, you and me, but I don't think I could lose in
Men.
one room. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, men. So she said the way that she found out was because Kevin had asked her, oh, can you write my meal onto your meal slip because I lost mine? And then
Mhm.
she heard Kia say to production, oh, my partner lost his meal slip. Can you put, this is his meal? So she said that's kind of how she found out, which is weird because to us, it very visibly looked like he knew about her, like that
Yeah.
Tyler knew about his other connection. So she said that once she found out he had another connection, she
Mhm.
admits that she spiraled. She said she admits to being an overthinker. She said that, she just assumed that, it was never about relocating. Like they were having this loop of a conversation about being inadequate and relocating. Inadequacy was linked to the relocating. He's basically saying, I'm not enough for you to make this decision for me,
Yeah.
And so she kept trying to explain, what's that for you? I relocate for my husband. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying that you're my husband, but he
Yeah.
kept saying, I'm not enough for you to like make these big ass life decisions. It's like, okay, bitch, then you're not. I'm out of here.
Mhm.
So she said she started to feel like it wasn't about the relocating, and now she started thinking it's because he has another connection, right? That's why we're
Mhm.
in this loop. That's why we can't move forward. Um, so yeah. So she felt like the other connection was the reason they were in the loop, and she was ready to leave then. And so one thing that she says is that she said she said that she was like, I'm leaving here with something. And when she did her little redo moment, she said bye to all the girls and started taking stuff out the kitchen. Like mugs and like
I love it.
espresso cups and all kind of stuff. Um And she said she tried to help him figure out that he was enough, but she wasn't going to be the one to tell him that she was
Mhm.
enough, that he was enough. And then she said that that her and her producer had a moment, which obviously we see her go into the confessional. She's very upset. She said that she was ready to leave, and she felt
Mhm.
like her producer kind of like tugged on her, you know, her
Yeah.
reasonings a little bit of like, well, you say that you always leave. This is what you always do. You're supposed to be here doing something different.
They showed
Um,
us that, remember? The guy's voice, you can hear
yeah,
him. Yeah,
yeah,
and that's a
yeah.
little manipulative, but also, I guess, true, like, you are there to try to get people to do something different than they usually
Mhm.
do, but she had her mind made up, and they kinda convinced her otherwise, so.
Yeah, and that's basically what she said, and I think we all saw that, so and I think they left that in there for a purpose, and
Mhm.
she actually said, "Pick Misha." She was being a Pick Misha Marie. I
Yeah.
don't know if you know who Shira Seven is, but she says like women who vie for the attention of men and not the other way around. Like know that you're a prize. She calls them Pick Mishas, and she was
Mhm.
definitely giving Pick Misha. That means you just want to be picked so bad
Yeah.
by any means necessary. So she says she shouldn't have went back. She knew Kevin wasn't her husband, not because of Keya, but because of so many other reasons. She said she was irritated and didn't want to do the confessionals, but her producer basically convinced her to. As she
Mhm.
says, when her producer told her you always leave, like it triggered her. And she started kind of spiraling, like, is this why I'm single? Because I always leave. This is why I'm not married. This is all those things. She said,
Mhm.
but her gut feelings are never wrong. She knew that that wasn't her man. So
Yeah.
then AD asked about her apology to Keya. She said it was weird to bombard her. I could tell that I overwhelmed her. She said that that scene was also like not what we saw, was kind of chopped and screwed. She said like it
Mhm.
kind of happened in the back, and Keya was getting mic'd up, and it looked like it was in the back to me, because like they're showing the kitchen, but they're not in the kitchen. So to
Yeah.
me, it was obvious that they were like behind some type of wall or something. But she's like, oh yeah, that's not like not what it looked like. Like we weren't in the kitchen, like, you know. And
Mhm.
again, like Kia's not saying anything during this first part of the interview.
Mhm.
So I'm like wanting to hear more from Keya. But so AD does ask about the infamous like few days of like wanting to be a boyfriend or a girlfriend, because I think a lot of us were like, what the fuck? Like, girl, do you know where you're at? She says she understands where is and understands the rules of the game. And like her point in that was like basically she was saying on engagement day, like, I want it to be undoubtedly me. Like, I don't want there to be anybody else on engagement day. So I
Yeah.
want an exclusive commitment on engagement day, because I guess some people on engagement day, you know, they'll break up with their other number
Yeah.
two or whatever on the actual day.
Mhm.
She says she wants to know at proposal he's not considering anyone else, basically. And so she says she doesn't regret saying that. Um, so as far as Kevin choosing her, she said we missed a scene. She said, "We missed the redo day. They had a date at night, and he was
Mhm.
asking her about rings." And she was like, "But after all of their like loophole of stuff, she didn't even know herself if she liked him."
Yeah.
So he had just had a 5-hour date with Keya. I cannot imagine having a 5-hour date
5
with one person
hours.
and then having a 5-hour date with somebody else. Like, that's crazy. By date 2, I would be tired of talking. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I would understand, like, being super low energy. Um, she said that, you know, she just kinda looked herself in the mirror and said, "Girl, go home. This is not your man." She said she decided going into the next date that she was leaving. Like, she said
Mhm.
the scene where we see her saying goodbye to all of the girls was before she even went into her date with Kevin.
Yeah.
She said that it wasn't after she went after her date with Kevin.
Yeah.
So, she said, so she only went into her date with Kevin to say bye.
Mhm.
So she said within the first 10 minutes of that date, she told him, "This is not working. This is not for me. Goodbye, gaboo, get the fuck on," you know? And she said he it was gift day. So this is where shit confuses me, right?
Yeah.
Like now, because it wasn't gift day when he gave Keya that fucking basketball. So
Yeah.
she says she's breaking up with him and it's gift day. And she told him, like, don't touch the gift that was in there because I'm breaking up with you. This is not for you. But
Mhm.
it's like, this looked like this was like, and that's the thing is that's why I need follow-up questions because it's like in the pods we hear you say proposals are tomorrow. So how is it
Mhm.
gift day? And is gift day not the same as when Keya did the gifts? Like, you know what I mean? So there was
Yeah.
a lot of things that were very, very confusing, but she said that he ends up going to the bathroom, coming back. You know, Kevin likes his speeches. And she says that's when he gave her this whole speech of like, it's you. I saw a mountain outside. And she says it resurrected her pick Misha. And that's what we see. But
Yeah.
again, all the
I
timelines are very confusing. It's like gift day, and we seen a gift day, and
yeah.
we seen proposals are tomorrow. Like it was just a lot going on. But um,
Yeah, I mean, I think Tyler did such a great job in this interview of doing something we don't see a lot of them do, which is like taking the accountability, saying, I get the
100%,
viewers, like I understand why they're making fun of me, they're
100%.
coming for me, and I was wrong in what I did to Kia, where she like apologized to her, whatever, bombarded her and all
Mm-hmm.
that. Like she did blame a lot on editing, yes, and the
Mm-hmm.
timeline and us, but she also took that accountability. Like we see so many people just say, "It was the edit, it was the context, and that's not me, and I never did this, and I didn't do that," but
Mm-hmm.
she did take so much more accountability compared to, like, just the only person I can think of that really blamed the viewers was Ashley, right? And all we had wanted her to do in her interview with AD was say, like, "The viewers were right. You guys had my back. I fucked up," and, like, that's all. So,
I
it was
agree.
yeah, she did a really good job of explaining what was cut and edited because that is a part of it, but also saying, "But this did happen, and I did embarrass myself a little." So,
Right, yeah, like,
yeah.
she literally admitted, "I was being a pick Misha." Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I was spiraling, I was overthinking, and as much as you can say as an edit, maybe things didn't go exactly how we saw, but the main points we came across, right? You're being a
Mhm.
pick Misha, you are spiraling, you're having a crash out, you are doing too much, and the main premise of what happened is still the same. The little details don't matter. So it is good that she was able to then say, you
Yeah.
know, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is how it went down, and I was
Mhm.
tripping,
Yeah.
like like.
Yeah, and explaining that, like, it when you're watching it as an audience, you're like, "Who could get like this over Kevin in 5 days?" But then she explains, like, it's the situation, and it feels like you've been there for months, and, you go there looking for a husband, so of course you're gonna try maybe more than you would in, like, the real world to make something
Mhm.
work and not
Mhm.
hear the flags, so she did
Mhm.
kinda the same thing when she talked about the basketball a bit later on. She said she said it didn't happen the way it was shown, and Kia came back with her basketball, and she didn't have a reaction. But we were definitely shown that she was pissed about the basketball. So I need to go back and watch and like see how they chopped and screwed that. So
Yeah, no, oh yeah, because it totally looks like she walks in and she's
yeah.
like looks over and then like kind of gives like a puff and then like storms out. Like she walks
hmm
straight to the pods, right?
I wonder if it's like gift day one day, then engagement day. Cause I guess that makes sense. It was like the gift crash out. Then the next day was
But
when
if
she like broke up with
engagement
him.
day's the next day and you're giving Keya a gift on gift day,
Yeah.
but I think we've seen that, right? On Love is Blind Italy or something. One of them like
Yes.
gave their partner a gift. It's like
So
you're still entertaining two people. But
mhm.
yeah, that would make sense, right? Gift day and then engagement day. And if you're
as
giving Keya a gift, like I could see.
As far as I know, do they not only bring 1 gift? So, you only
Well,
give
you
1
have to
person?
choose, right? Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
So if you don't
Yeah.
although I remember getting some tea on season 5. Remember when it was, like I can't even remember who it was. It was Johnny, Stacy, and Izzy maybe? And I just remember hearing that he gave one girl a thoughtful gift and one was, like, a trash gift, and so that's how they knew who he was gonna pick. So I wonder if you bring 1 special gift and then if you still have 2 people, they're kinda like give them this little
Basketball.
bracelet or something. Yeah. Yeah, because I would imagine if you come back without a gift, like, how are you gonna stick it out after that? Like, that's
Yeah, did
embarrassing.
Tyler mention if she got a gift? I know she mentioned she gave him a gift.
She didn't, and we never saw her get one, so that's
Yeah.
concerning. I don't blame her for crashing out then, being like, "I just gave you my thoughtful gift," and that's the whole thing with this whole losing of the paper. I'm wondering if he had 1 paper, but he tried to get 3 meals, so he, like, gave his paper with 1 girl, but he was getting meals from the other girls or
Yeah,
something.
well, Keya had said, like, had made a comment with the meal thing. She was like telling the same girls the same thing. And she
Uh-huh.
said that she thought it was a special moment between them of like, oh, she said she had forgotten to put her meal on there. She had only put in his meal on there. So she thought it was like a special thing, like, oh, he wants me to get his meal for him. And then, and then Tyler kind of, that's just how she figured out that Kevin. So, because it's like
Ye
now, why are you telling both girls to do the same thing? And it's this repetitive thing that we're seeing where it's like you just say the same shit, you do the same shit, and you're just, and I think it
yeah,
makes more sense where it's like if he's like this super insecure guy that like just feels inadequate, like it was never gonna work with either of these
no.
ladies, you
He
know?
was just trying to give them a view into their future of getting his meals for him, because that's how it would have gone down. So,
Yeah.
he they would have been
Doing
paying.
everything.
Yeah,
Doing
exactly.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so she talked about the basketball thing, and then, she explained the look she gave to the camera. Because remember, they showed it to us as the yeah, as though he had said, like, "I'm not ready for marriage," or something, or something had been said off camera. So, what he said, she came in and said, "What would you do right now if you were me?" And he said, "I would run." And that's when she did the face. Yeah, she's like, "Okay."
Okay, then I will. All
Yeah.
right.
So she said they cut him saying, "I would run." So obviously it looked like her reaction was just sort of dramatic for no reason. But I would think saying, "I would run" is worth the face for sure. So that makes way more sense.
Especially now it makes sense because we seen her asking, "What the hell? Like, you just asked me to be your girlfriend, so why would you just ask?" Well, you just made me your girlfriend. Let's not say
Yeah.
ask. You were kind of forced, but
Yeah.
also, if somebody just asked you to be their girlfriend and now they're telling you to run, yeah, I'd have that
Hmm.
face for sure.
Yeah. So that makes more sense. And then they talked about what happened after they left. So Kia said she never got his phone number, like didn't want to talk to him again. And Tyler got talked to him the day she left. The day they left, they talked. So I was not a fan of that information because I was like, she should have just blocked him and forgot him. But she
That's
was,
Pygmisha resurrected once again. Okay.
yeah, she said she needed clarity from him, and so they had to talk. So something that doesn't make any sense is obviously they bring Kia for the mixer. We see that in the preview. They don't bring Tyler. She says she never got invited. She had a dress picked out, and they never contacted her.
That
I
just
don't
doesn't make sense.
know. There's definitely either she's coming to the reunion to have this face to face with Kevin, or the
Mm.
perfect match. Like there has to be something else they're saving
No,
it
you're
for.
right. They're saving it for the reunion
Yeah.
because Kevin, we see Kevin and Kia's closure. We do not see
Yes.
Tyler and Kevin's closure. So they're saving that closure for the reunion.
Yeah, and then Tyler or Kevin did say on his interview yesterday that he did, if I would have picked Tyler. I meant to pick her, like I was planning to pick her. I wanted to propose to Tyler. So that fits with that narrative. Like they have something to resolve here. But her saying on this interview, they talked on the phone the day she left. I mean, that's resolved. That's closure, I think. So I guess it's not been on camera yet,
It's
but
not on camera. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the point, right? That's all they care about. I don't
Yeah.
give a we don't give a flying fuck if you
But
settled
now
it
we
off
know.
camera.
Now we
Yeah.
know though, like they're gonna try to have this big reunion moment, like you haven't seen each other since the pods. But I'm surprised because as we know, Kinetic runs these interviews, and I'm surprised they left that in there. But maybe it's just to sort of tease us, like you all want to know how that talk went, and now you're gonna get to see it happen.
Mhm.
So yeah, she didn't. We're not gonna see her on screen again, but I think at the reunion. So they must have filmed the reunion this weekend, right?
I don't know. My invite got lost in the mail.
Me too. They forgot about us. They
I
definitely
just feel like one
they
day before the show ends that they're just gonna knock down the fourth wall and say,
That
okay,
one
we have to get these girls on because, we know that that's what people want to see. And we know that jaws are going to drop and we're going to let them ask a few questions.
they got our pictures outside with the security is what they got.
Yeah. Do not enter. Look out for these
The the only
bitches.
reason I think it's filmed already is because that's what they did last time. Because obviously AD's podcast is in LA and they don't like to spend too much money, so when they bring everybody into LA for the reunion, then they send them through the studio to do all these interviews.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they said this was interviewing. She was like, I just went for dinner with Brittany last night. Her birthday was on Tuesday, so I checked Brittany's Instagram. Her birthday was February 10th. So the interview was filmed within like the last 4 or 5 days, which is
Okay.
surprising because she usually does hers like way ahead of time. So it is recent. So up to the
Okay.
minute information. But yeah, I didn't hear any tea about the reunion yet, but it's coming, I'm sure. So
Mhm. Mhm.
okay,
Yeah.
so they also asked Keya about her other connections. So she said she can't remember any of their names, which was funny. And she said, now this won't shock you whatsoever, especially after what we just watched on episode 7. Politics was a huge problem. She said, I would ask the politics right away, I would get the answer, and I would leave, right? And because and AD was like a lot of Republicans, and she said it's Ohio. So that was the answer there. So I think that left not a lot of options for anybody who had that as a deal breaker. And so she said that was my deal breaker. It was the first question.
Mhm.
So she had her options very limited right off the jump.
Which
So
makes me think about Jessica and Chris, which means you
uh-huh.
guys talked about it and you got engaged knowing you had very different political views.
And she's very outspoken about hers, so that's very shocking. It is possible Chris lied. It is possible he went through a few people and that was a deal breaker and he started to be like, I better not say or I'm not going to get engaged. So I want to hear more from Jessica about that. But
Mm.
if he hid that, that's terrible. But it seems
Mhm.
like he hid a lot. So it's possible. But yeah, that's sort of like a deal breaker that you can't get over, just like the no kids thing. We saw that with
Mhm.
Ben and Sarah a couple seasons ago. And it's one of those things you're giving yourself that parachute out, right? You're like, I'm going to get engaged to this person with completely different political views because when I say no at the altar, no one's going to fault me. Like, I'm not marrying this person. So, but you shouldn't get
Mhm.
engaged to that person then, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why she said she didn't get far. I think she said she had no other connections, just Kevin.
Mm.
So that makes sense. Then the end of the interview was very sad. Lots of crying. Kia talked
Mhm.
about her grandmother had just passed, who was like the closest
Mhm.
person to her. I think
Mhm.
she said she has dementia or had dementia, and that, her family and her friends had never seen her be vulnerable. Like the way she was on the show, all her friends are texting her, like, this, who is this? Like, this isn't you. And she was really excited for her grandma to see that. So I guess they thought they were coming out in October, which is what we had told everybody. Boston will be season 10, Columbus will be season 11. They switched recently, semi recently. So, or like maybe within the last few months. And so she told her grandmother, like, oh, it's going to be February now, like not October. Like, will you be here for like the premiere? And her grandma said yes. And then her grandma did not make it. And so, yeah, it was
Mm.
lots of tears. And
She
she's
passed away before the
before
season
the
aired.
show. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
They were crying and I was crying and I was like, "No." And she's like, "I'm so mad at her for not making it." But I know, it's sad. It was so
Can't be
sad.
mad at her. She tried her
I
hardest. She held on for as long as she could.
I think grief, like the anger part of grief, right? That's where it's obviously
Mhm.
pretty recent, and so that's where
Mhm.
she's at. Not I understand what she means. You're not mad at her,
Yeah.
but you're
Yeah.
you're just mad, like you're
You're mad. Yeah.
frustrated. Yeah, so
Mm.
she's sad her grandma didn't get to see it. So yeah, the end was crying. Like, if you're
Mm.
gonna watch it, bring the tissues for the end because it was so sad. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
it just made me sad hearing
I know.
about it. I can't
I know.
imagine.
It was
Oh
hard.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, it was sad. And she said she didn't go into any other details, but she said the last year has been like the hardest year of her life. And that was the other thing. She was like, I'm mad at her for not being here for this hard year I've had, but she didn't really explain the rest. So obviously losing her favorite person was definitely the biggest
Part
part of
of the
that.
har yeah,
Mhm.
mhm.
But there's other things, I guess. So, yeah, so there wasn't a lot of tea, I would say, but a lot of context, which I like to get because
Yeah,
now we have a better idea. Even without the context, like I said, I was still not faulting Tyler at all. Like she was pick me show, whatever she said, but you do go there to get a husband. And if you want them to narrow down to you 2 days before the engagements, that's your right. And then, as we said, if Kevin didn't want to narrow it down, I guess that's his right too. But the more I see of Kevin, I'm like, he was not there for marriage. So that's annoying. This has wasted
yeah.
everybody's time, basically.
It's not that I think I genuinely think that Kevin wanted to be there for a marriage. He wanted to be ready, but you're talking
Hmm.
to these two boss ass women who have their shit all the way together,
Yeah.
and you now know it was in this experiment that made you realize that you're not ready to be someone's husband. Now he still
Mhm,
is telling Tatum and other articles that he disagrees with that. He thinks he is ready to be a husband, but
mm,
I think it's very clear what Kia said to him. You're not ready, and when you are ready, you will make a good husband. But right now, like financially, emotionally, you're not ready. Who wants a husband that's like, I'm inadequate, I'm inadequate, I'm inadequate? Like you
yeah,
feeling like not enough is you not being ready to be a husband, right?
yeah,
So
and same thing with Kia, they said Kevin had never watched, didn't know what he was going into. Again, I don't know if I fully believe that. I can understand a little bit, but also, yeah, I don't know how you could put yourself in that position without, like, just at least Googling it, like, looking it up.
which they did.
Yeah, yeah, so, they weren't trying to give him, like, an out or anything, but a little bit, like, they were just like, he didn't know that it was this serious, I guess, but either way, both of them win, they get away. I just wanna know what's happening with Tyler and Kevin, because why I guess the reunion. We'll wait for that, but I hope she's not dating him or something. She would never.
It didn't sound like
That'd
it.
be
No,
crazy.
based
Okay.
on how she was talking, she said over and over, "I knew he wasn't my
Yeah,
person."
yeah,
So
yeah.
I doubt it. Yeah.
Yeah, I doubt it too. So, yeah, and then they just asked, like, who, they're closest with from the pods. I think Tyler said Brittany and Jessica, and I can't remember who else. And Kia said, like, Dynasty, a couple other girls. They're all friends, but I think they're all, like, in different towns now, so it was Ohio, but, not really Ohio. They're there temporarily for the show,
Yeah.
and then they left, so
Okay.
I don't blame them,
Yeah.
but New York seems like a little more exciting than Ohio, but I don't know, I've never lived in either, I could be wrong, that's just the vibe I
No, yeah, no, New York is, I'm sure, way more
get.
interesting than Ohio.
Yeah. Well, any other thoughts about their interview before we move on?
No, no, good interview.
Yes, really good. Good. Oh, and AD said like what we've been saying. Basically, Kevin's never been in this position to have two baddies fighting over him, and he was going to drag it out as long as he could. So we
Okay.
all could see that.
Well,
So
yeah. Yeah, and what's so crazy, you didn't even know that they were baddies. You just knew they just were so phenomenal. You
yeah,
knew it. You could feel it through a wall. So
yeah, yeah. So everybody ended up happy, I think. So that's good.
yeah. Perfect.
Well,
Okay.
should we get into episode 7?
Let's get into it. Let me
So
see. Let me find
get your
my
notes.
notes. Get my notes ready.
It started with
Brittany and Devo.
yes, started with a sad little chat with Brittany and Devo where she was trying to explain to him. Well, she was telling him he should have gone home, right? When he found out about his grandfather, which we
Well,
agreed
I
with.
think she was telling production. She
Oh,
wasn't
yeah, yeah,
telling
yeah.
him. She was telling production that he should have just went home. You
Mhm.
know? Which I feel like you could have said that to him, but I get where she was going with it. Like he should have went home if he can't commit to this experience.
Yeah. And that's what we did say during that episode is like I feel like he wanted to wait it out and see what happens. And then once he saw Brittany was like, this isn't my type, I can't make it work. He's kind of gonna use it as an excuse now for like why I'm not into it. And so he does say
Mhm.
like I'll be better once we get home. But do you think he will be?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. I think that like she had like later on in the episode when they seemed to be having a good moment, like I couldn't like her saying like, "Oh, we have like good communication," like, and she said she said, "Girl," she said he's Christ-like or like Jesus or something. Like, why would you put that on Jesus? Like, that is so like he gonna strike you down, girl. Like, it's
Uh,
just I just think, like, if you guys are having these extreme of issues this early on, it's not something that can be ignored, you know?
no. And I mean,
He didn't
she
talk to her for 2 days? That's what she said. He didn't talk to her for 2 days, and this is when they were still in Cabo.
mhm, and they only have so many days, so that's crazy. But
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell how genuine she is and how hard she's trying to make this work. Like she's all like he's Devo, he's, him, and she's gorgeous, amazing, and she's like basically like throwing herself at him, trying to make it work, trying to talk to him, trying to get on his level, trying to anything because she fell for him in the pod. So she's so genuine and doesn't deserve this.
Yeah, like, I literally wrote this down. I said, "Oh, she likes him." When she
Yeah.
melted in his arms, the minute he extended an arm the way she melted and cried, I was like, "Oh my god, this girl really fucking likes him." Because I
Yeah.
think as a woman, we've all been there where we're just so mad, but then it doesn't even matter when they just hold you, and I'm
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
literally, as my face when that happened, I was literally
Right? Yeah,
like,
it's
I
like
was literally like ew, Devo? Because the main thing to me was that he said, "I'm sorry you've felt this way,"
mhm.
instead of, "I'm sorry,
I acted this
not
way.
that I've made you feel this way. I'm
Yeah.
sorry you felt this way, not I'm sorry that I made you feel this way."
Yeah. I mean, this just proves what we always say about this show is like the women can fall for a man behind the wall and then see him and he's not really your usual type, but it doesn't matter at all because he's hot to you now because you fell in love with his personality. So she's in that place of like, if I saw him at a bar, no, I wouldn't be like, damn, but I love him now. And so he is attractive to me. And men are just not on that emotional level. They're like,
Shallow bitches,
yeah,
yeah.
they see the physical, completely erase the 10 days in the
And it
pod.
will completely erase. Now, do I believe that these people are in love with each other? No. Do I think you could fall in love in 10 days? No.
No.
No, I don't, genuinely. Do I think you can establish, like, true, genuine feelings that feel like love? Sure.
Yeah.
And I think that that is what Brittany is feeling, and like you said, a man can look at you and, like, all of that goes away, like,
Yeah.
every little ounce of feeling that they thought they had is like, no, 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 this ain't gonna work."
Yeah.
Um, but am I the only one that felt like when he was like, "Do you need a tissue?" She's like, "No, I'm okay." He's like, "Are you sure?" It's like he just wanted to get out of there so bad. Like, I just want to
Yeah.
leave and go give you a tissue so that I can get the fuck away from this crying, even if
Yeah.
it's just for a second, you know?
It's crazy he can't even, like, hide his disdain and disgust, and it's like, she's so beautiful, it makes 0 sense. There's one thing to have a type and to be like, "This isn't my type," but, like, to act like physically repulsed by them. There's something wrong with his mental state because and she just shared a clip on her Instagram that I shared. Have you seen that interview she did where
Mm-mm.
the interviewer is saying like he said he's never dated a woman of color. She didn't know that till she watched the show, by the way. She
Right,
didn't know at
right.
all. And then the interviewer was like, "Is he not a person of color?" And she said, "Yes, he is." And so I
Duh,
think
like,
yeah.
I thought, like, when people so many comments, I got so many comments like, "Hey, isn't he mixed? Like,
Yeah.
isn't he a person of color?" And to me, it's so obvious, right? Like,
Yeah. Because you have
duh,
eyeballs.
he's a fucking person of color. Like, why are we even questioning that? How is that even a thing? And I think that people don't understand self-hate, right? They're like,
Mhm.
well, be he can't be a person of color and not like her because she's a person of color because he's a
Yeah.
person of color. But I'm sorry. Is he scared to say the word black? Like, people of color, black people don't use the word women of color,
Yeah.
person of color. Like, just say she black. Like,
Yeah.
are you scared? Say it with me, Devo. Black. BLACK. It's okay. You
Yeah.
don't have to say colored. Like,
Yeah.
no one freaking
Well,
talks like that. You
that's
just
what
say she's black.
That's what Brittany said. She's like, "I don't know what he means by women of color. He means Latina or black, but I'm both. So I don't know what he's trying to say, but both is what I am." So yeah, he's like nervously stepping around it, and
He's trying
it's
to say it right in a respectful way
yeah,
because he doesn't want it to come off as derogatory, but you don't understand that as a black man,
mhm,
you can say black. You
yeah,
don't have to say woman of color. You don't have to say colored. That's actually offensive. It's
yeah,
more offensive to call somebody a person of color. Like
yeah,
if you were a white man, I could understand you walking on eggshells because you don't want to be offensive and use the wrong terminology.
mm,
Sir, you black,
yeah,
okay? I know you don't want to admit it, but your ass is black. You can say
mhm,
you can say I've never dated a black girl. It's
yeah.
okay. It's
And
okay.
that's the biggest issue with him. I think he's speaking like that because he doesn't identify as a black person himself, and so he's trying to be, like, just talking in a different way, and that's why other people watching are confused and like, "Isn't he? Is he?" Like, I'm
See,
so lost.
maybe he's
Yeah.
white. Like,
It's
maybe
like
he is white because why else would he be acting like the no?
yeah.
He's a brother. Okay, a very obvious. Like, I would assume that he has a white mother that he grew up with, and I would assume that his dad was not in his life.
Mhm.
So that would be my assumption. I don't even know, but I don't even have to see his mom to know that she's the one who raised him and she's white
Yeah.
and she's white and so he thinks he's white.
That
Like,
is just wild, though, for her Brittany to not be told that. I mean, like, why would he not say that? Like, this whole time, she's there all up on him trying to figure out what's wrong, trying to figure out what happened, and this whole time, he said it immediately to the camera, and they didn't tell her. Well, like, I'm sure her reactions would have been she wouldn't have probably stayed for another second, so
yeah, because I think you always know you don't want to be someone's first black girl.
mhm.
You just don't. If this is not what you like I'm not your fucking science experiment. Like this, we're not doing this. But very interesting that you've said it to the camera multiple times now, but you've yet to
Yeah.
say it to her.
And I think it didn't even occur to her because she thought he's mixed, right? So she was like, "That's not the problem. How could that be the problem?" Like, it
How
didn't
could that be
even
the problem?
yeah,
But
she didn't even think
self-hate
about it.
is real. Self-hate is real. Like
Mhm.
I can't stand a black man that be like, I don't date black women. And then they mama is
They
black.
say
You know
that?
what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there that will like that's why Christine was like, I don't like to date anybody that only dates something because it
Mm.
would be very strange if Victor was like, I only date white women.
Yeah.
White women are my preference. I don't like to date black women. And again, everyone's entitled to their preference, but as a black man and you're like, oh, I only date white women, and your whole mom is black.
Yeah.
I don't like black women. You got a black mama. Like it's like self-hate is like a really, really I'm sure it happens in all communities, but it is
Mm.
very, present in the black
Yeah.
community. And we see it happening with Devo. During
Yeah.
Black History Month, Devo, how dare you? You fucking
Insane.
graham
Yeah.
cracker.
I mean, as far as we know, he deleted his Instagram or did he block both of us? But
I think we couldn't find it. I think Steven did the same thing
pop back up again.
and then pop back up. Let's see if he's back. Let's see if he's
I don't
back.
blame him for deleting it. He probably should just go disappear for a little while and work on himself maybe, but I don't know. I couldn't
Yeah.
find it, but a lot of them have like random names. Like if you're on the show and you're listening and you are on to be an influencer, put your real name as your username. Is the biggest problem. I see them have like some random username and they wonder why they don't get as many followers. And I'm like, people can't
Yes.
find you. It's very difficult if you
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, you need to
Yeah.
have just your name. No
It'll help
silly,
you.
unless you're trying to hide, then make a weird name for sure. Because I
Yeah.
saw Alex has a weird one too, and that makes sense because he's probably trying to hide. So anyone hiding
Yeah.
should do that. But I think that was all we saw
Uh,
for Devo and Brittany, right? Just those
yeah.
two
Yeah.
scenes.
We didn't see a lot of them. We just seen those two scenes. I do feel like because there's so many of them, the edit's gonna be a little weird, right? Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a little chopped and screwed. It's gonna be a little quick. I felt like the trip was rushed. They were only there for an episode and a half.
Mm.
Um, I felt like that was very rushed. We see a small scene with Alex and Ashley, but I think the main event of this episode 7 was Alex's talk with Ashley's dad, which we will get there. It was honestly the best scene I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But we do see Alex and Ashley talk about how his mom is a truck driver and she's in Arizona, and
Mhm.
they have this relationship where it's like he doesn't really know what's going on with his mom. He didn't know she got a new job. I don't
Yeah.
know. There was something very bizarre about that conversation, and I can't put my finger on what was weird, but something rang weird about it to me.
I think he's just not there to get married. Like, he's just there for the screen time and he's not in it. He's not genuine. Obviously, Ashley's dad called that out. He's not good at being honest, right? Every time Ashley has a concern or a question, he's just like, "Yep, and it's fine. We'll figure it out. No problem." He doesn't want to have any real talks. Like, I don't think we're seeing the real him whatsoever.
Yeah, very, very surface level.
So,
Yeah, but I think my favorite scene with Ashley and Alex was
yeah,
this meeting with her dad. He was on his ass,
yeah,
okay? Like, he was on his ass, like, no bullshit, no, like, he was straight to the point. He was asking follow-up questions. That's how my mama be,
hmm
to where I have to, like, be like, "Mom, like, are you gonna ask them their Social Security number? Like, get out of the business." But
yeah,
he was grilling him,
hmm
and you could tell he did not believe a word he fucking said.
no.
And is it me, or did Alex just admit in this scene that he had no fucking job?
Yeah, I think he's used to being able to talk his way out of things, but
Yes.
he's a day trader, which is not a real job, right? Not,
Mm.
mm,
Which is not what your Love is Blind
no.
poster said either,
It said,
right?
what did it say? Finance, accounts, I don't know, one of those things. So,
It's like, first of all, the first thing that her dad asked is, "What have you learned about Ashley?" And he said, "A ton."
yeah.
And he's like, "No, no, 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 and like, that ain't gonna do it. Like, give me some
Mhm.
specifics." And then it's like, "What you learned about her is that you like that she's family oriented." Again, talking in circles,
Mhm.
saying a lot of nothing. Dad was clocking it.
Yeah.
I like her dad, okay? Like, dad does not play. Then you said, "I traveled the world since 2020. I took out my severance. I
Mhm.
traveled the world." And so dad's like, "Well, did you work,
Yeah.
or like you just traveled?" He's like, "I
Mhm.
just traveled." Like, it was honestly, it was a pretty long scene, but I enjoyed every freaking second
Yeah.
of it. And just
It was
imagine how much longer it actually was.
probably so long, and it was good to see someone put him on the hot seat, one of these men on the hot seat,
Mhm.
because I do feel like a lot of families, you don't really wanna we have had parents kinda go hard and then they get talked bad about and people don't like them, and I think your child comes home and says they're gonna marry someone in 2 weeks, it's okay to, like, put the pressure on them and ask questions, and obviously, what did you think of the Trump stuff? He's Republican, not shocking at all, saw that
Not
coming.
shocking.
Yeah, and
Mm,
Ashley's
I
family
didn't
too,
I
obviously.
didn't yeah,
Yeah.
so I was wondering if that was her family's stance, because he just kind of was like, "Oh, did you vote for him?" And he was like, "I didn't vote, but I would have voted for
Mhm.
him. I'm a conservative all the way." Like, and he was like, they didn't really, I feel like that was them making her family stance clear too,
Yeah,
like,
because I think what
because they didn't object, right?
well, yeah, and what her dad said right after was like, "Oh, like, I could be lying," because I think her dad probably said that, and then he was like, "That's who I would have voted for," and he was like, "Oh, I could be lying just to see what you say," right? And that's when they got into that whole conversation of like, "I might be saying something just to see if you agree, but I actually feel the opposite." So, what I gathered from that was that her family agreed with him, but it's true, they didn't actually show her saying it, but I did feel like Ashley's demeanor changed a lot after that because she knows that's gonna be, like, people are gonna be talking about that online. They
Mhm.
do seem to be bringing politics a lot into the show, which they said they put topics on here on purpose to make everybody argue and fight in the comment sections, and so this is
Mhm.
obviously a big way to do that, and so they
Yeah, I think
included it, but
it's definitely gonna be a talk of a point that a lot of people are gonna bring up, I think, in their recaps and in their reviews. It's not shocking,
yeah.
I'm not shocked, but I think I was shocked that it came out the way
Mhm.
that it
Because they
did,
didn't
like,
yeah, we didn't see much politics in the pods, talk.
Mhm.
And probably
Mhm.
because they know if we saw that, we would know that some of these people should not be engaged and it's all fake. But I don't know.
Mhm.
I still want to know more about Jessica and Chris. But I think her dad saying the patriarchy stuff does give.
Yeah,
But
and I say it all the time. There's a big difference between a Republican and a Trump supporter.
yeah.
There just is. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And we don't talk about politics here on this podcast because Ashley is Canadian, first of
Yeah.
all, so she feels like she doesn't have a dog in the fight. And also, everyone can watch reality TV. You don't have to be a certain way to watch it. But if you've ever been confused on my stance,
Yeah.
I would never date Alex because of his political views, and I do think that that is a deal breaker.
Yeah.
So,
And I will say, as a Canadian, I've explained this to you before, where it's like I assumed from everything that I consume online in my life that like nobody in the United States liked Trump and he would never get voted in. And so it was a shock to me. And so I think now when I watch these shows, right, I'm like, oh, right, like half the people in the country or more, I guess, like this guy. So it's like probably more people than you realize do, right? And then you see these shows and you see it. Like you're like, oh, all these people. I mean, no, they didn't say Alex said it, but the rest didn't. So I
yeah,
don't want to assume,
yeah,
but
yeah, like
he said
you
it.
straight up
So
said you're a Trump
yes,
supporter. And
yeah,
again, I think there are a lot of Republicans in the world that don't necessarily agree with Trump and what he's doing. Like, you
yeah,
know what I mean? There's like regular Republicans and then there's January 6thers. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Which I think Chris is giving January 6th. A part of their conversation that I thought was so funny was when he was trying to say that his grandparents have been married for 50 years, but he's like, well, if your grandma died, if the grandma died at 67, like they
yeah,
couldn't have been married because he said 50 plus years and then it went down to 50 years. He's like, are you lying? Like, is that just something you're saying to me? And he's like,
yeah,
no, he's like, you look down and you look to the left. Like,
yeah,
basically, like, that's a massive indicator that you're lying. He did look down to the left because I rewound it like a million times. He's like, I look down and to the right. I look
yeah,
down and to the right. Like,
yeah,
it was a shit show. This is how you hold someone's feet to the fire. This is, I know you're full of shit. I know you're bullshitting, and I'm going to let you talk yourself into a hole. Now, Alex did hold his own in a sense where he didn't get jumbled.
yeah,
And again, he tried to give this overconfidence of like, yeah, like I'm the same way. Like I play the fool and like let someone, play their cards. And then the brother's like, oh, so you're admitting you play the fool. Am I? Am I? Am I playing the like just trying to act like he's the smart guy? Like,
mm-hmm.
yeah, like I could tell you're smarter than you let on.
Yeah,
And it's like actually the dad is not trying to lead on to be dumb
no,
whatsoever. He's laying it out. He's like, you're drilling me a bit. Like, yeah, as you should, as you should. Like,
mm-hmm.
but he was at some point stuttering. He was stumbling. He's looking down. He's nervous. He's
Yeah,
nervous as shit. Dad has clocked that you're a fake ass bitch. Like, period.
yeah. He's a
You know,
lawyer.
like,
He's
yeah,
listening
he's a lawyer.
for
He said, I'm questions. He's like, I'm full of questioning, bitch. Like,
yeah.
I'm a lawyer, bitch. You're not about to play with me.
Yeah, and he wants the evidence. You can't just say something, like, there's follow-up questions, like you said, so
Mhm.
it was definitely fun to watch. Obviously,
So
he
fun.
loves Ashley, he seems like a good dad, and it was fun to see one of these guys get put on the hot seat, and I didn't mind it at all, so
What did you think of this whole? He's like, I'm a day trader. He's like asking him what he trades. He's asking him the currency. He's asking, and then he's like, so do you have like a job lined up or is like day trader stuff? Like
yeah.
basically, you don't have a job.
No,
So do you have a career lined up? You
and
know?
didn't Alex say, like, 2 different jobs he has lined up or something? Like,
He did. And that's the thing is like, I think here, whatever he said his job was, let me see if I have it in my notes. Whatever he said his job, because I thought he was a soccer coach. So I'm like, where the fuck
yeah,
did we get that from? Because I feel like in the pods he said he was a soccer coach. And then
mhm,
on his Love is Blind profile, he says something different. And
yeah,
then here he said 2 different jobs. This is the main indicator that you don't have no job. That
yeah.
and like, you're just able to travel the world and go here. And then he said he
Yeah,
was fishing. He said
uh-huh,
he fished and then he said he did this and he did that. And it's like, you don't have a fucking fucking job, bro. And
No.
I wish her dad seems like a no bullshit kind of guy. So her dad seems like the type of guy to be like, okay, so got it. You don't have a job. Like,
Yeah, and, like, didn't he say he was working in a casino or something at some
yeah,
point? And he
yeah.
probably gambles. That's probably how he makes his money. And, like, that's what trading is, same thing, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, and then
lot
he started
of
talking about
flex.
soccer again and how he had to rebuild his fucking life, like,
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, he does not give somebody that's ready for marriage whatsoever, so I don't even know
"I
why
have a
he got
job set up in
engaged.
Florida, I have a job set up in Arizona, I have a job
Yeah.
set up my ass," like, you know what I mean? Like, "Bro, you don't have no job. You don't have no job."
Yeah.
That was that's the funniest thing. What did you feel about he's a divorce attorney, clearly, and he said his one piece of marriage's advice is never call them a name they will remember for the rest of their lives.
I think that's very good advice, and actually made me think when I watched Summer House and Kyle and Amanda, because that's what they're doing to each other. Well, that's what Kyle's doing right now. So, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's very smart advice,
Yeah,
so,
name calling. I'm like, "What have I called a motherfucker before that they gon' remember for the rest
yeah.
of their life?"
Yeah, I think, like, those, like, low blows are not a good idea, but, I mean, when you fight, people say things they don't mean sometimes. I think it just
Mm,
depends on the situation. I do know, like, a lot of divorce lawyers they get divorced. So,
mhm,
obviously, he's not. It seems like they're still together. Like, yeah, my husband doesn't do divorce law, and I'm glad for that because I think yeah, it's hard on a marriage probably to see that all the time, but then be like, "Okay, everything's fine here," but then you see all these problems all day long, so and people that just
yeah,
are so bitter and fight, like, over nothing, over the most ridiculous things, you would not even imagine what people can get into, so, yeah, I thought he had good advice.
mhm,
Obviously, I would take his marriage advice because he's seen it all, but
yeah.
I don't think Ashley and Alex gotta worry about marriage advice, so
I don't think so
they ain't
either.
getting that far, but we'll see.
He he said, "Honesty isn't his strength." Basically, I could tell you're a fucking liar.
Yeah.
So, I think Ashley's dad was definitely the GOAT of this episode. She was
Mhm.
sitting there on mute. She wasn't trying to save him or nothing.
No.
She just threw him to the damn wolves.
Yeah.
So,
I think, with Jess and Chris, we didn't see much except uh, they had a little conversation, and she already mentioned his switch up, which I think we knew was
did
coming.
we see them in this episode? I
Yeah.
don't have a damn thing written down about
It
them.
was literally, like, 2 minutes, and she was commenting on how he had switched up since they got back from the trip, and he was like, "I'm just, like, work or something," and so it was already planting the seeds that he got home from that free trip, and now he's like, "Here's the real me." So, that's what's about to happen with Chris,
Okay,
and
we see it's going downhill, down, down, down,
yeah,
down.
and they were joking about him being, like, a serial killer or something, I don't know.
I see. Oh, I remember. She was
Yeah,
eating that salad. That's the only thing
yeah.
I paid attention to was the salad she was eating. It looked really good.
Yeah. So I think it's just setting the stage that they've already got some issues, which we'll probably see in the
Mhm.
next 2 episodes. And then we saw Emma
Mhm.
and Mike literally just talked about laundry. I don't separate my laundry. Do you? Is that still a thing?
I do.
What?
Mhm. Well, you know what? Let me not lie. I don't do my
Oh,
laundry,
right,
okay?
right.
My cleaning lady does it, and
Mhm.
she uses laundry sauce.
Love it.
Use code. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Um,
Receipt,
so slash
laundrysauce.com/receipts,
receipts. She does
20% off.
use laundry sauce. It makes my clothes smell really good, and she does separate them. But it seemed like to me, Emma was trying to. Her complaint about him was you don't close
The
doors,
doors. Yeah.
which to me was just giving you're just trying to find something to complain about because he
Yeah.
doesn't like your
Yeah.
clutterness, you know?
Those are the things you get annoyed about like 10 years in, not like 2 days in. So I'm sure it's like, yeah, she's trying to say, I'm not the only messy one. You leave doors open, but it's not really the same. But about the
Yeah.
laundry, I'll tell you, I've never separated mine once, and I've never once had a color problem. So you guys are being
Okay.
fooled out there. If you're separating, just put it together. I promise
Okay.
you. Maybe if you have really white
Even
stuff.
your whites?
Yeah, but
You put your whites with your like red sweater? It
yeah.
doesn't bleed onto the
Never
Oh,
once. Never had a problem.
okay.
But
All
I
right.
don't have a ton of white clothes. I'm a very messy person, so that could be it. If I had like a really nice like white shirt or something, I might not risk it. But in terms of like general white-ish clothes, chuck it all
Mhm.
in there. That's what I
Check it
do.
all in there. Save time,
Yeah.
bitch.
I've never had a problem, so I've never had
S
really white stuff, so who knows?
Yeah, I think the only other time we seen Emma and Mike in this episode was at the end. They are having she's it's seeming like she's going to make a career decision based on him, which is a big no-no, I
Yeah.
think, in my opinion.
Well, did she say she's getting a promotion, and then if she doesn't get the promotion, she would leave the job, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Something along those lines. But I think that they have bigger fish to fry. I
Yeah.
think we are now seeing them talk about kids again.
Mhm.
And he's being very clear. He's like, I want to know that having kids is a part of my future. I don't want you having a kid for me because you will end up resenting me.
Yeah.
And so you basically need to decide if you can see kids in your future or not. And this is the thing, break up with her,
Yeah.
bruh. She's not sure. And if she says she's sure right now, it
Mhm.
will be for you.
Yeah.
And this is the deal breaker thing again.
Yeah, I think
Both of them are dating past their deal breakers.
yeah, I feel like she needed to be more adamant about it in the pods if it is definitely a no, so I because she was kinda wishy-washy about it,
Yeah,
and so
100%.
I don't know if that's just true to how she feels, though, like, maybe she isn't 100% sure either way, but, yeah, it's sort of one of those things you can't take a gamble on, like, I'll marry this guy that really wants kids, but I'm not sure because what if you
Yeah.
change your mind? So
And I think it's as simple as not as simple as if you don't want kids because you're scared of what you're going to pass down to them, get genetic testing and you
mhm.
could figure out what runs in, right?
Yeah,
Can't you? Like you
I
could
don't know.
kind of get a general idea of like what things could come up, but I just think that this limbo that they're in is just not going
Mhm,
to boat. It's not going to end well for them. I just think I don't know about them. I don't know about them, but because I think he's being very clear in his stance and she is not. So,
mhm. I agree.
yeah.
Jordan and Amber, they see his house and his little
I thought
man.
he lived
I think maybe he was
in a trailer.
joking. I don't know. Or was it a trailer? I can't remember. I only remember the
It
inside.
it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't. It said a townhouse. I went back and rewinded it because I was like, I thought he lived in a
Yeah.
trailer, but no, he lives in a townhouse.
Maybe they're gonna get a trailer together. That's like a plan of theirs. Cause yeah, he does not live in a trailer. He has a cute little house with a little man cave, and she talked about telling her child. I'm surprised we haven't really heard a lot. I know when Jess came on with a kid, people were up in arms. She got a lot of she got a lot of hate. She's got a tiny bit of hate about it. Like, how could you go on the show, get engaged to someone, and your child has never met them? But I haven't heard much about Amber. So people just kind of accepted this now that maybe parents will go on the show and it is what it is. And
Mhm.
they're kind of like
Yeah.
whatever about it now.
Yeah. I think we've seen it enough for it to be okay. Now we had Jordan. We
Yes.
had the woman on Love is Blind, Italy
Ooh,
or France, whichever one that was.
I
We've
think
seen it a bit now.
I think you're right. I think people were so hard on Jess, not hard on Jordan, and now they're like, "Oh, now we can't be hard on Amber because we weren't hard on Jordan about it." So, because I
Mhm.
mean, it is a little crazy, right, to think like you're gonna get engaged to someone who's never met your child. Like that is not great, but I think you would
Yeah.
want to make sure your child approves of them. But I guess if they're gonna meet each other before the wedding and all goes well, but how can you know in such a short time if someone's gonna be a good dad? Like you cannot know that. So
Yeah, you
it's
can't. It's
scary.
a risk. But what did you feel about Jordan basically saying that the reason he doesn't want to move to Mount Vernon is because he need like the bar
Yeah.
scene. Like he needs
I mean, again, not you don't know what kind of dad he's gonna be. And parents can still go out and have a good time, but yeah, they definitely
you're
need
basing where you live
yeah,
based on the bar scene is a red flag? No?
very
No?
much. Yes. Yeah, I think it's like you're getting married, you have a 7-year-old all of a sudden, so the bars are not your concern anymore. That's not your priority. So
Nah, it should not be you should not base where you live based on the bars.
no.
That's for sure.
There's definitely some big lifestyle like she's a nurse and yeah, it's
A nurse
not
practitioner.
right. Yes.
She's a nurse practitioner. I mean, she's basically a doctor, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't think she's worried about the bars, you know?
No, she don't got time for that. So,
Yeah.
not a great sign, but
Wait, did you notice that his job said software sales and like before it was account manager? That's what it said on his like Love is Blind poster.
mhm. Fake jobs.
They just keep changing their job descriptions. I'm just saying.
I think they pretty much have to quit their jobs to go on the show, and so that's where the problem comes in. It's probably like, "I don't really like this job anyway, so I'm gonna quit, so I will say I did this job, but then when I get back, I gotta get a new job," and that's not a great start to a marriage. Like, I'm unemployed.
That's somebody that doesn't have a career because you
Yeah.
see the ones that have an actual career, they're like, "Oh, yeah, I went on sabbatical," which I'm sure that's what Amber did.
Yeah.
When you have a career, you can take time off. When you have just like a job, you can't really just take time off.
So
So,
true.
I thought it was fair that he doesn't wanna move to her place, she doesn't wanna move to his place, he wants to get something that's theirs together. I think that that's fair.
Yeah.
Did you notice that Vic and Christine are not in the shared apartments?
No.
They didn't show them in the shared apartments. They just showed them meeting families.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they just haven't got to that part yet for them. I always just assume
When
maybe
when all of them were moving in, I was like, "Where the hell are Victor and
I
Christine?"
did
They showed
notice
everybody getting settled in, not them.
Yeah, I did notice, like, we didn't see them until the end, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I forgot about them, and now here they are." Like, it was really at the last second. So, yeah, that's interesting. They probably did they not have an apartment for them either? They only have a set
I
amount?
don't think so. I need to go back and look at that scene where they're all, like, walking in, but I noticed they showed all of them settling in,
Yeah.
putting their clothes in, sitting in the living room, and they only showed Victor and Christine when they were showing up at her mom's house, which I'm like, "So did they not get an apartment either?"
Yeah, that's so sad because 'cause they're clearly a strong couple, so I'm like, "Why would you do them like that?" Like, I don't understand. It is not adding up to
Yeah,
me.
it's almost like they didn't it's what I feel like happened is they didn't choose them as a couple to follow, but we're still staying up to date with them and seeing that things were going well, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna just put you back in
Yeah.
because, it seems like things are going well for you guys." Like,
I think so, because yeah, I'm sure they didn't for whatever reason. It's probably just that they were too boring, right? Like, because 'cause they're so good together and no drama, and so they were like, "We can't really waste a whole couple on these people, we need the drama." So I think that just proves that they do like the trouble, the drama, the couples that are not meant to be, and they're gonna have a lot of problems, so but we
yeah.
need at least a couple of good ones, like, come on, we need half and half, so but
Yeah.
I thought that what did you think of the talk with her mom?
I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
I think they're a good pair, and obviously her mom thought he was hot. I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, me
Yeah.
too, girl." Like,
Join
it's
the
hard
club.
to pay atten join the club, mom. It's
Yeah.
hard to, like, like mom said, like, you're so educated, you're tall, you're handsome, like, how the hell did you end up on this show?
Mhm.
And why are you single? Of course, we all have that question to a lot of people, but I think it's just a testament to like sometimes this is just how you're supposed to meet your person. And
Yeah.
if Christine is his person, he was never going to meet her in any other scena- scenario,
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and then they seem
crazy.
aligned on so many things, like, obviously, the religion, their backgrounds, their stories, their dads, like, they have so much in common, so you really see, like, how this pod stuff worked for them, They align on so much, and so
Hmm.
the family meeting went well, so far so good for them. They're cute.
So far, so good. They're cute. Yeah.
And Bree and Connor was the last couple, so she did not like his house.
She didn't have she honestly got on my nerves so bad in this scene. She did not have a single positive thing to say about this
Mhm.
man's
To be
home.
fair, it's
It
mid-March.
sucked.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's mid-March and
Oh.
the tree is still up, so that's a long
But it wasn't only the tree, right? It's
Yeah.
like it's the tree, it's the reef, it's the lock on your door, it's the man cave, it's the keg, it's your headboard, it's your gaming room, it's your everything. She had a fucking problem with everything. Like,
Mhm.
and the thing is when we seen somebody did this on Married at First Sight and we lit his ass up,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like the thing is it's okay to have your opinions about it, but at least say something nice. You know what I mean? He's a homeowner and he's
Mhm.
obviously proud of his home. I didn't see your home. I know she has one because she said, you know, and then we also seen this on Love is Blind. Was it Italy or France where his place was clearly so like shitting on her place, and then she was like saying all these negative things like, oh, there's dirt on the floor, there's dust on the
Yeah.
floor. And I'm like, girl, bitch, his aesthetic is shitting on yours. Now, granted, Connor's aesthetic was not shitting on nothing. Like it
Yeah.
was very frat boy, it was
Yeah.
very ugly. And to say like, oh, I can add a woman's touch to this is like, you know, that's different. But I felt like she was like, she didn't have a singular positive thing to say. And
Mhm.
I just feel like if he did that to her, we would like literally light his ass up.
I don't know, because with that Married at First Sight one, her house was nice, it was good, and he had nothing good to say. This is a lot to say about, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
he's
his house
32.
sucked. I mean, the house sucked, but he's 32. He owns a home
Yeah, no,
selling
that part
dumpsters.
she could say.
Apparently, there's money in selling garbage, just
Yeah.
garbage trucks or whatever the fuck he sells dumpsters.
I appreciate that she's saying, like we said, so many of these couples fake it. Like she could have gone in and be like, "Oh, it's so nice, I love it," and it's like we would be like, "Yeah, right, girl. Like, come on." So I do appreciate that she's being honest about how she feels, but it is a lot. Like she could just sugarcoat it a little
She
bit.
could you say you could be honest, you could say something
Hmm.
nice and then say your point,
Yeah,
right? Like, "Oh, this is a nice sized room. It would look much better with this."
yeah,
Like, "Oh, this is a cool gaming setup." But, you know, whatever the fuck you've got to say. Like,
yeah,
"Oh, this could use a better comforter, but I like this."
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, just but I felt like it was mean, and I
yeah,
feel like that's their dynamic again, I guess.
yeah.
Like, I think, like, that's I'm starting to realize that that's their dynamic of, like, kinda picking on each other. I'm like, "You're annoying, you're this, you're that." Like, because we have heard Connor in previous episodes say how annoying she is and how much she gets on his nerves, and she always got something to say. So
Hmm.
clearly always having something to say is like her thing and their
Yeah.
thing. So if she like it, I love it. Not my pig, not my farm. I did, however, notice in one of the confessionals he chopped off his damn beard. I don't know why he
Oh,
did that because now he just looks fucking
yeah.
wild. Goodness gracious.
He said something that was a red flag to me where he said, like, I don't believe in divorce. I think it's so silly when people say that, right? It's like, I
I didn't know
understand
he ever
if
said that.
your parents are still together and so you have that example, but I would never, because my parents are still together and so are my husband. So, like, does that give us pressure to stay together? Maybe a little bit, but it would never be the point of like, I don't believe in it, so I'm not gonna do it despite how horrendous the situation is. I don't think you would ever wanna impart that to your children, like, "You gotta stay no matter what because we don't believe in divorce." Like, I don't think that's a healthy way to go into anything. You wanna be there because you wanna
Right,
be there, not because you don't believe in
right.
it. So, I thought that was just not a smart. I think it's just something people say to, like, get out of them. Like, he's like, "I can't get married and just see what happens," right? Like, because if I get married, it's for good, so
Yeah,
because I
that's
don't.
a good way to preface, like, I'm gonna say no
Yeah,
because I don't want to get married till I'm for sure, 100% for
yeah.
sure. And if that is your outlook on marriage, then this is not the experiment
No.
for you.
And did you notice the trailer they totally faked? You know that part where she's leaving his house and they put this voiceover that's like, "Get out." That's the scene where she's just walking out to test the door lock and they totally
I felt like that
faked
was
that.
so obvious.
Yeah,
I felt like that was so I felt like it was obvious in the preview. I'm
it
like,
was.
obviously,
But she was
he's not
smiling.
kicking. Yeah, I'm like, obviously, he's not kicking her out the house, but even in the scene, he's like, "Get out." Like,
Yeah.
get out. But it was to me, you can tell it was a joke. So
Yeah.
people like, "Oh my god, he's going to kick her out of his house." I thought it was very fairly obvious that this
Yeah.
was like
A joke.
I didn't know that they would be testing a lock, but I
Yeah.
just thought, "Oh, this is very clearly like a joke."
Yeah.
And obviously that lock did not hold up
No.
one bit. So
No. I understand her point, but that is one of the things she could have left off of her list of complaints. It's like you can deal with that later. Like she can pick at the Christmas tree and the keg, but the lock, like you don't have to point out every little bad thing, right? So
yeah, she's like, I feel like it definitely was giving frat house. It was giving a boys' house. Boys are so freaking clueless. They don't know
mhm.
nothing about nothing, you
No.
know? But I definitely did feel like she's like, I feel like I'm at my like visiting my little brother or something in
Yeah.
college. Like it's a little demeaning,
Mhm.
emasculating him a bit. And,
Yeah.
oh well, I get if that's their thing, then
Well, I'm excited to see episode 8. I don't know. Like Vic and Christine seem solid. Jordan and Amber seem solid. The rest, I don't know. We'll see. So, any other thoughts
yeah.
before we go?
No, I think this was Alex, the roast of Alex.
Yeah.
That's what they should have named this episode.
Yeah.
That I feel like that's what we got the most this episode. I'm not mad at it.
No.
So
Well, we'll be back to cover episode 8. Thanks for listening. Bye, guys.
bye.